What's up, everybody? Steve Celestio here with another episode of Eagles on the Air. This episode is being brought to you virtually because we have an amazing guest. He is the co-president of Marvel Studios. That's right, the co-president of Marvel Studios is a Salesian High School alum from the class of 1974. I am happy to introduce this episode with Mr. Louis D'Esposito. Please enjoy. Louis, thank you for coming on and doing this with us.
Hello, Steve. How are you? It's great to be here. It's been a long time since I've been there. You said 1974. That's about 52 years ago.
Well, hopefully by the time we're done with the podcast, we'll agree to get you up here, get you over here. And
I promise next time I'm in town, I'll come by. Promise.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay.
So, Louis, I really appreciate you taking the time out of, I know, a very busy schedule. And I do host the schools podcast, live in our studio once a month. And I can't exempt you from this first question. The first question I ask everybody that comes on the show is, what is your Salesian story? How did you, when you were a boy growing up over here in New York, how did you come to know Salesian, eventually go there, and how did it all come to be?
Well, it's not much of an interesting story, but I'll tell it the best I remember. I went to Catholic school. I lived in the Bronx. We went to St. Anthony's. Then we moved to Westchester County, and I went to the Immaculate Conception in Tuckahoe. So my parents wanted me to continue with a Catholic school. And I think the top ones at that time were Iona, Stepinac, Salesian. But Salesian stood out because it wasn't a giant school. So going from a small classroom to a school that felt manageable, it had a great reputation, and I was accepted, I believe, in most of my choices, and I chose Salesian. I had visited the campus. I liked what I had seen. The teachers seemed great, and I chose that school, and no regrets. I loved it. I have very fond memories.
That's awesome, and I'm learning right off the bat. We're learning here because Immaculate Conception School in Tuckahoe is my parish right now.
Oh, is it really?
It really.
Yeah, I went there seventh and eighth grade, and it was a big change coming from the Bronx going to. I've never played kickball, so when I was asked to play I said, "What the hell game is this? Kickball? You kick the ball, and it's a giant ball, and there's no stick ball? No, there was no stick ball." So I wasn't very good at it, but I got through.
That's great, and I tell you what, ICS is still a beautiful school, and we still attract a number of their students. So that's
it's great. It was a beautiful campus and a great church, by the way. They had a beautiful church, but so Salesian, my parents wanted me to continue with Catholic school, and I wanted to also, and we were a Catholic family, and all our friends were. So Salesian, I chose Salesian out of the four places that I was accepted.
And I'm sure, well, right now I'm very happy you did, and I'm sure back then they were happy.
No, they weren't happy back then. I was a bit of a, I had to go see the dean a few times, but I can't tell those stories. But I have very fond memories.
That's good. I'm glad to hear. And I'm going to we're going to move around a little bit, and I promise I won't take up a ton of your time, but we're going to jump right now to present day, because you are the co-president of Marvel Studios, and Marvel is I have two young boys. It's just synonymous with everything. It's the decorations on the wall. I'm looking at the posters behind you. It's the toys I see all over my house. Look at that. I
have posters all over my office.
I love it.
It's signed by all the actors and filmmakers. It's a privilege to work here.
That's great. So, what was your educational path like once you left Salesian? It sounds like you had a pretty good experience and feel like you made a educated decision to attend Salesian. What was your educational path on way and route to your professional career?
Well, it had nothing to do. It's foundational. Salesian teaches you foundations. I went to Iona College. It teaches you great foundations. Your family life teaches you the great work ethic, hopefully, and never give up. But I fell into the film business quite accidentally. I didn't even know they made films. Today they have some great film schools, and it's an obvious choice for a lot of students. And if I had to go back in time, I probably would have gone to film school, but I didn't even know about it. And I think my parents probably would have said, film school? What kind of career is that? Would have not allowed it. Mm-hmm. So after I graduated college, I was dating a girl whose father was a producer for TV commercials. And I met a lot of people through him, and some were in the film business. And one in particular, my mentor, by a gentleman by the name of Robert Girolami from New Rochelle, was an assistant director on a lot of films. And there was another director by the name of Dominic Rossetti, and he was one of the biggest commercial directors in New York. And he said, Lou, why don't you come work with me for 2 weeks? At that time, I was working for an air charter service called West Air. I was doing their marketing. And it sounded really, really compelling and interesting and exciting. And I said, 2 weeks? All right, I quit my job. My parents could not understand. I was quitting my job to go work somewhere for 2 weeks, and I wasn't guaranteed work because you had to work freelance. Everything was freelance. So I did it, and the first day on that set, I fell in love. I said, this is what I want to do. And I worked, I really, even though it was a freelance business, I worked every day. And I kept getting a job after job after job. And I decided to stay in features. Commercials were fun. You can make some money, but I decided to stay in features. And I followed the path of production, and I was in production. But that's not what I really wanted to do. I wanted to write. I wanted to direct. I wanted to produce. I wanted to be in the creative. So in about 1995, I said to myself, if I don't make a change, I moved out to Los Angeles in 1990. In 1995, I said, if I don't make a change, nothing's ever going to happen. So I stopped working. And I went to acting classes, not to be an actor, to learn the craft. I went to writing classes, directing classes. And I took about 5 years off. And I would do a commercial every now and then to pay a bill. And after that 5-year period, believe me, it was rough economically. I went through a lot of depressed periods, but it was the best thing I had ever done. I had really gotten that education that I needed to propel me into something, and everything changed after that. And I had worked on a film called Zathura with Jon Favreau. I was the executive producer on it, and we got along well. And then once a film is over, you sort of separate. You maybe see each other again, maybe you don't. And I got a call from him a few years later. He was going to direct Iron Man. And I was on a film with Will Smith. I had just done Pursuit of Happiness, and I was working with Will Smith again, and the film shut down that day. So the day we shut down, I got the call from Favreau, and I said, I'll come in for the interview. And that was the best thing that's ever happened to me, professionally.
Wow, so it all started. So the Marvel world all started for you with Iron Man.
With Iron Man, I started on the first film, and Kevin Feige and I. So I was executive producer on that. After Iron Man, Kevin approached me, and I had never worked on staff, and he said, "Lou, we get along great. How would you like to stay on?" So I thought about it because it was a big change going from I had a good freelance career going. And I said, you know what? I love it here. We're a small group. I think we can do exciting things. And I did it. And, that was in 2006 I started. So it was approximately 20 years. And it goes by in the blink of an eye.
Well, I mean, aside from us clicking on to this session, and chatting it up for about 10 minutes before, we've never spoken before. But one thing I can tell you right now, and just us speaking just for a few minutes, is that I can tell you love what you do.
Yeah, there's no question.
And I love that one word that you used. You said that your education was foundational.
Right.
I love hearing that because so many of the guys that we hear at school, and I just see, because I'm around young men and women all the time. My wife's a coach. I'm a coach. They're so worried about what they're going to do. Like, your career needs to be set once you leave high school.
Right.
And that is absolutely not the case.
It's not the case at all.
It's
because
not.
You have to discover what you love and what you're good at. They might not be the same. So there's a reality check there. And what I meant by foundational is that good work ethic. I deal with a lot of young people coming in today, and they seem to want things. They want to be executive producer or president of the company in 3 weeks. And I tell them it's taken me 35 years to become an overnight success. So you have to put the time in. You have to be willing to work harder than anyone else. You have to love what you do. When I first started, I would work 7 days. I made no money. I was making $35 a day my first jobs. And you have to love it. You stick with it. You're going to have a lot of ups and downs. You have to try to navigate that and not get caught up in the emotional roller coaster. And if you keep your eye on that prize and head in that direction, it'll come. And you'll be surprised. Maybe it'll engender something else, actually.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I love that you said is that the relationships that you build are so important because look at us. All in you're obviously on a greater stage than a lot of people, but people still need to want to work with you. They still
Yes,
want to be around you. And
yes.
I'm sure you need to want to be around other people that work for you and whatnot.
That's a talent sometimes or an asset that's overlooked. You're getting along with people
Yes.
because in our business, you spend a lot of time together and you
Hmm.
want to spend time with people. You don't have to agree with them, but you have to respect and they have to be courteous and genuine and likable. And if they are, you're going to want to spend time with them. As a matter of fact, you don't want to agree with them all the time because those disagreements, something better can come from that, you know?
Oh yeah, in my world, I talk about that all the time with certain people. No one really wants a yes man. Somebody
Exactly.
tell me if you think something can be done better, and I'll we'll respect your opinion if it's coming from a good place.
As a matter
And
of fact, we have when it comes to the film is the most important thing, and we don't have any other agenda of making the best film possible. Now, sometimes we fail; it's not the greatest, but it's not that we're not trying. So the best idea wins. We can be disagreeing with each other, and something comes from it, and you say, "Wow, that's a great idea. Let's try it." And you can't be afraid. We walk a tightrope. We're not afraid to try things, even pretty last minute. And if it's great, we'll do it. And it's nerve wracking sometimes.
I would
But
say sometimes probably maybe a little bit exciting too, right?
on Avengers, I don't know if you remember the last scene when they're eating shawarma and they're all sitting around. We shot that the day after the premiere and put it in the movie.
Oh wow.
That never happens. As a matter, you don't see Chris Evans because he had a beard for another project.
Oh,
So
that's
he put
funny.
his hand up like this and he's hiding himself.
Oh, we're getting some inside scoop here right now. I
Yeah,
love
getting
it.
some inside scoop. Yeah, so that takes a lot of guts to do something like that because the prints are made, they're being shipped. It's you can't imagine the machine required to release a film, and then at the last minute you're attaching another piece of footage. But we did it, and we do that a lot. We, most of the time we try to be a little bit more planned than that, but it just goes to show you something something great can come from disagreeing and discussing and only wanting the best idea to win.
Absolutely. And we actually did something fun here one time, and I wish I would have known during COVID. During COVID, you couldn't do this, and everything at school was getting
Yes.
canceled. Well, just to let you know, a little FYI, I don't even have this written down in my notes to mention this today. It just came to me now, but we ended up on the side of the school when you're in the parking lot. We covered the entire school in a white, like a drop down cloth, and we played Black Panther out there.
Oh, you did?
We hooked up a sound system and we did like an outdoor, like a drive-in movie.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because everything had to be outdoors, everything had to be
Right.
spaced out. And I said, wouldn't it be fun if we showed them a movie? We put it out to the students and they picked Black Panther to see.
We're very proud of that film.
Yes,
It's
yes.
it's unfortunate our actor passed away. He was a beautiful human being,
Yes.
and Ryan Coogler, our director, is he's a young guy, married, children. I tell him all the time, when I grow up, I want to be like you, and I'm twice his age.
That's pretty great. So let's flip it back real quick because I have a very important question I want to ask. And I ask it of guys that graduated, around 40, 50 years ago, like yourselves. Salesian High School, there's been a lot of people that have come and gone, and I know that everyone has somebody that might have been important to them, whether it was a teacher, an administrator, a coach, or whatever it was. And I call it the Salesian High School Mount Rushmore. So for you,
Right.
who's on your Salesian High School Mount Rushmore? Anybody that sticks out as being?
Yes, there's two: Mr. Flattery and Mr. Martinelli.
Oh, you came out with
Yes.
those right away. All right.
Yes, no. You know, when you go to high school, it's completely different. Well, for me, it was from my grammar school. We had a small class. You weren't walking around the building. You had I had a couple, basically two nuns teaching me. When I went to high school, and that's the balance they have to, when you're 13, 14, how much freedom do we give you, and how much discipline? So I thought Salesian handled that really well. We want you to start developing on your own, but yes, we have to watch you a little bit. But Mr. Martinelli and Mr. Flattery, they were very relatable. they felt like your buddy, and at the same time they were your teacher, and they could discipline you, and you had to respect them.
Mhm.
But it was that they had that perfect balance where you felt you could speak to them. They were relatable. They felt like regular people. You like to hang out after school with them. So, as a matter of fact, I had seen Mr. Flattery was out here in Los Angeles a few years back, and he came by to visit me, and it was great seeing him.
Yeah, he is. It's funny because all these years later, he was very influential on me as an employee here too. And I love how fast you came out with your two guys. Sometimes the guys come on, they think about it for a second. What was this guy's name? What was it? You jump right on there. But
Right.
also, I love what you just said because sometimes people want to say high school it's a very formative time. Kids, when I was doing the recruiting, I told all the kids, they used to laugh. I said, "You're going to come in here. You don't even need to shave yet. You don't
Right.
you don't have a hair on your face. By the time you graduate, you're going to have a girlfriend. You're going to have your first car. You're going to be shaving every day." A lot of growing up happens, but there is that point where we need to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And you're right. And I have to agree, even as an
Well,
employee.
you have to develop as a man. It's still a male school, right? Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have to develop, and you have to be formed. It just doesn't happen. You don't get divine inspiration. Oh, I'm a mature man. You have to learn how to be, and you have to learn through example and by making mistakes, and by learning what the process is. So, I thought it was and by a senior, you're given a lot more freedom. But as a freshman, at first I walk around school. I go to different classes. I can so just learning how to balance that is important. I thought Salesian handled it very well.
And right now, we're up to the kids can switch anywhere between, including the cafeteria, Casson Commons. The kids switch anywhere between 4 buildings now too. So the bell.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen the campus since then. I mean, I haven't been back since then. I
We
would
have to
love
change
to.
that, man. We got to get together.
I have to come. I promise you, the next time I'm in there, and I hope school's in session so I can meet some of the students too. That would be great.
Oh, I'm sure they would love it. I'm sure they would. That would be great. Because what's funny is everyone's a fan. When we tell them, "Hey, the co-president of Marvel is a Salesian grad," they think we're joking.
Right? No, I'll come.
It doesn't sound real to.
I'll bring some posters.
But you know what's funny? I ran into Mr. Flaherty as well, and he was living in Yonkers for a number of forever, and he retired down to Sarasota, and we held
Right.
a Florida reunion down there, and
For what year?
it was anybody that graduated from Salesian that was living down there. So I had guys that I taught, 12, 15 years ago. We had guys from the 70s come in. It was a nice group. About 35 guys came.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
It was awesome.
I
Yeah.
would love to see. I know there's one student in particular, Robert Coppola. I don't know if you know him or remember. He stays in touch with me, but I've lost touch, because people get married, children move all over the place, and it's very difficult, as you know.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I'm 25 years out of high school, and I'm like, sometimes people say a name, and I'm like, do I know him from high school? Like,
Right, exactly,
the world's just
exactly.
about to get all crossed up. But listen, I know I promised not to take a.
No, go ahead. We're still okay. You can still. I'm okay.
Okay, so I don't want to ask too many of personal questions, but I did. I'm pretty upfront, and that's why people feel comfortable sometimes talking to me. I saw your IMDb, and
Right.
I had to scroll and scroll and scroll. I
Yeah.
said, "Oh my God, what's your favorite film?"
Well, the favorite film I worked on here is Endgame.
Okay, good.
Endgame was a culmination of a lot of films, and it was the ending of the Infinity War saga. And going into the movie theater with real people, not just a premiere audience, real people, and seeing their reaction, I get choked up now thinking about it. It was absolutely amazing hearing people laugh and cry and cheer. It was overwhelming because it was part of my life too. I started at Iron Man, and I've been here, ever since. But it was a mic drop. Able to tell that story and have it hit so emotionally, it was my favorite experience. Now, I mean, there's a lot of close seconds and thirds. We're currently working with the Russo brothers, who are my great friends, doing Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. They have done Civil War. They did The Winter Soldier and Infinity War and Endgame. So they've done some of maybe our four of our best. I love the Guardian movies. I'm a good friends with James Gunn, our writer-director. Obviously, Black Panther. We're making another Black Panther movie. They're all special. They're all your children, you know. And the newest one is usually the one I keep in most regard. But just looking back on it, Endgame had it, because of the reaction that all the people had to it, and how much, because they've been following along, whether an avid fan or just a fan that would see a few of our films, they all felt something, and that's why you go to the movies, right? You wanna be moved.
Absolutely. And so you ended up you went to a movie theater of just regular, like you just.
Oh yeah, I would go with the Russo brothers, and after a while, we'd be recognized. And then we would mob, but we would go in, wearing hats and glasses just to see the reaction. It was overwhelming. I would cry every time. Now, another film that I love that was not a Marvel film that I loved working on, it was because of Marlon Brando. It was The Freshman, and I got to, because Marlon Brando was one of arguably the greatest actor of all time, and I got to be friendly with him and spend time, and I could tell you a story one day how we met John Gotti together, and it was quite an experience working with him. I have wonderful. I'm very grateful and lucky in my career. I've had a storybook career, and I've worked on a lot of great films. But you have those memories sometimes that, working with Marlon Brando or working on an Endgame is they just stand out as the most special thing that can come to you.
I mean, if you're in this industry, you work with Marlon Brando. That's like a baseball player.
Meeting Joe DiMaggio,
Babe Ruth,
Joe DiMaggio. It's one of the best. Now, I work with Robert Downey, Chris Evans. All these actors are great actors. Marlon Brando, though, is an icon, legendary. You just look at his body of work, and it was a great experience.
That's, I'm floored by this. I really am. It's just because I've been working at Salesian High School now. This is my 20th year. And as happy as I am to be having this conversation with you, although I wish to God I was on the West Coast in California doing this in person right now.
Oh, no, that would have been great. Yeah.
I'm so happy you're doing this. But what I see is, I'm listening to the kids talk all the time. We have career day set up in a couple of days, and they have no idea what is in store and what could be in store for them. Because I'm seeing like our students in you, a kid from ICS, a kid from the Bronx in ICS.
If you would have told me when I was in Salesian High School what would have happened, I would have said, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. It could happen. Anything you dream of can happen. And it's just going out and doing it. It doesn't happen in a blink of an eye. It takes a lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears. All those sayings you hear about hard work and all those, they're true.
Sure.
And it's perseverance, because most of the people are not going to be able to persevere. And you have to be able to hang in there and stay with what you believe and what you want. And listen, if you want to be an actor, let's say, and that's your dream, that doesn't happen for everyone. So you have to at one point make a decision. I've been doing this for 20 years. It hasn't happened. What do you want? A family? Do you want to continue? So something like that is difficult. Or if you want to play in the NBA and you're 5'2", that's not going to happen. But but certain things, most dreams you can get close, and have a very fulfilling life.
And we had it's so similar to here, and I'm learning a lot just hosting this podcast for the school. We had Mike Breen on, the announcer for the Knicks Salesian High School class in 1979. Did an episode for us a couple months back. His story was very similar in that he was taking these small jobs, and he's on the air doing, I think it was Marist basketball or Fordham football or something. Nobody's really listening, but it was him and getting his work in, getting his reps in, and being able to just persevere through not making much money.
Right.
Until he caught a break.
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
he's one of the best announcers in basketball.
You know, when you listen to, it's always great to listen to successful people and see how they got there. When you say listen to Larry Bird or Michael Jordan, they talk about, I mean, they took 3,000 free throw shots a day. I mean, it's incredible the things they would do. It just doesn't happen.
Yep.
You have to put that time and effort in, and it will pay off. And maybe not the way you imagine, but it will pay off. And that's what you have to be open to, and love the journey, and not just look at the destination, because the destination might be something you haven't even imagined. For me, it was I could never imagine this. I didn't even know there was a film business that movies were made. It was not in my brain that is a possibility. And then when it was offered to me, I said it became my love. In the blink of an eye, I fell in love with it, being on that stage. I'll never forget. And I said, this is what I want to do, and I went after it.
I just hope to God we're going to push this out to as many of the students, current, prospective, that I can possibly think of, because your message is so loud and clear, and it's right here.
Yes.
It's right here. It really is. Like, if you want it, put in the work and go get it.
You know, if I could do school all over again too, I would try to be an A student, because it's the foundation. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to communicate your ideas clearly. You want to be able to write your ideas clearly. You want to be able to think and learn how to research, and that starts in school. And I had to make up for a lot of those things. I wasn't an avid reader, say, or even though I was a hard worker, and then I changed my habits, you know, reading, writing classes, all those things. But you start saying, why didn't I do this when I was younger? I would have had that foundation. It's so important to find that discipline to become the best you can be. Because you see, when you're, Bob Iger, who just left the company, was the CEO. I would have a meeting every Monday with him, and a lot of high-powered people. I'm pointing this way because his building is right across the way, and they are impressive. A lot of people, you know, that have gone to some great schools, and they can communicate, and they think, you know, it's not small thinking; it's big ideas, and you want to be able to compete on that level. And that's what it's about. And you want to be able to communicate your ideas, that everybody's understanding what you see, what you want to achieve, or what you want to achieve for the company. And I remember going into meetings, because sometimes we have imposter complex, or whatever they call it, where you have that voice saying, oh, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. You know, you got to not listen to that voice. You're not going to get rid of the voice. You're not going to, you say, I'm not listening, I'm going into that meeting anyway, I'm going to do the best I can. But once again, foundation, strong as possible.
I love it. I think this is amazing. I think you were awesome on here. Really, I'm not going to lie, I rarely get nervous. I'm like, you know, come on, we're going to have a great time. He's a guy from Salesian. I was a little nervous for today. And, I went home after school for a couple hours to go see my kids. And I got here about an hour before we came on to make sure my computer was ready. I really had a great time just chatting it up with you. And I can't wait to push it out, because, for no other reason, I really want our current students and prospective students to hear you.
Right.
That's all I want. I really do, because your message is so clear, it's so important, and it's so, it's just great advice for anybody.
And also, it's achievable.
Yes.
You know, they're putting me up for a star on the Hollywood Boulevard. I don't know if I'll get it, but I was thinking, what would I say? And I would say, maybe to encapsulate it at the end, I would say something. I think my star would be the most important star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, with all these 5,000 celebrities and mine would be the most important, because someone would step on it and look down and say, who the hell's this guy? And if he can make it, I can make it. And I think that would be the strongest message you could give.
Well, I'll make you a promise now. If and when that star goes in the ground, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I promise you. I'll bring you some Salesian swag.
I promise, next time I'm there, I'm coming by.
Oh God, we're gonna hold you to it, because
no, you got my word.
I'm gonna as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna text Jon Favreau. I'm gonna let him know that you sent your best wishes, and he's going to appreciate that you came on here. And that's what I was going to say when we were at the reunion. And I told him that we initially planned to come out to California. He said, make sure you get in touch with Lewis. I said, okay, John, I'll try. So I'm glad we were able to get this together. I really want to thank your assistants, Brianna, and in particular, Brianna and Nick. They've been a big help.
They're fantastic. They're the best. Yes.
Yeah, they've been such great communicators, even with the time difference. I realized one time I emailed them. I think it might have been at like 4:00 in the morning your time.
They were probably up. We do a lot of our shooting in London, so I sometimes get emergency phone calls at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So
all right. So hopefully their phones were on silent. But Lewis, really, just one last time, I want to thank you. I really appreciate it, and I know that when the students and the parents of the Salesian High School family see this, they're going to love it. So
hopefully they come to school there.
Hey, you have your chance now if you want to say anything to a prospective student. A kid, right now is the time when the 8th graders are looking at to try to decide if they're coming to high school. You have anything you want to?
Yeah, no, it's a great school. I have fond memories of it. I had the teachers, both the lay teachers and the brothers, were absolutely wonderful. I have fond memories. I had a lot of good friends there. Obviously, over 50 years, you lose touch, but it was wonderful, and it's big enough but small enough that you feel you're being looked after. It's not where you're getting lost and you're a number. Everyone will know you. Everyone knows your name there, and the teachers felt really, really interested in making you the best you can be, and you can't ask for more than that.
And that holds true 52 years later. Same message. Yes. They still care the same way they did. I hear that story. That seems like the theme, the ongoing theme.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So again, thank you. I appreciate you taking out the time. And all
right, Steve. I'll see you soon.
I can't wait till I see you in person.
All right, brother.
Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this virtual episode of Eagles on the Air. See you soon, back in the studio.